high profile, high stress job, how do you maintain your physical fitness?
Priorities and scheduling.
Right.
One of the early on mistakes I used to make is I used to go to the gym in the evening. And I work in Andheri, my house is in Altamount, and by the time I'd come back, आज थक गए हैं, आज भूख लगी है, अरे यहाँ बाहर जाना है, अरे traffic था, class छूट गया. So I figured that no, my life has to be about working and working out.
How important is nutrition to you, and how do you take care of your personal nutrition?
Even though I'm Marwari, people think I'm a Bengali, and that's because of my
I
love
always
for
thought you were a
mishti.
Bengali. Then of course I saw your second name and I said, "Nee."
Because I love mishti, I love sweets. I literally dream of sweets. I think I go to a restaurant and open the dessert page first.
Oh my God, there are too many similarities, bro. What's your favorite cheat meal? क्या आज खाने का mood है यार?
I think definitely sweet, anything sweet. Seafood diet, you see it and you want to eat it.
Welcome to Unstoppable with Rohit Roy, powered by Ritebite Max Protein. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have an extraordinary episode lined up for you. Joining us is a remarkable individual who has carved her own path to success in her field. Like I've always said from the beginning of this podcast, I don't want to limit this conversation just to actors and models, but include fitness enthusiasts from all walks of life. Today we have the dynamic and visionary Devita Saraf, an influential leader in the consumer electronics industry from Anchi, Mumbai, India. As the brilliant founder, chairman and CEO of View Televisions, Devita has transformed her company into a market leader, setting remarkable milestones and driving innovation with her exceptional leadership. And obviously, one requires great mental alacrity and strength to achieve such goals. So, today we'll delve into her inspiring journey, exploring the highs, the lows, the challenges, the triumphs that have defined her path to success, and how important a role fitness has to play in this journey. Warm welcome to the show. Glad to have you here.
Thank
now,
you.
I have to start from the beginning. Since you don't do too many interviews, and when you do them, they are for business channels, obviously. Let's start how you started. How did you get into this field? You have obviously a lineage that you've followed. Your family's into business.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about your start.
Well, I think I've always been very ambitious and driven from the start. I grew up in a business family. My
Right.
father, grandfather, all entrepreneurs. And I think seeing the kind of respect and power that they would have from a young age, I wanted that for myself. However, South Bombay, where I'm born and raised, is very affluent, but still quite a conservative space.
Yes, of course.
Traditionally the women have always been about marrying into a big business family and who you're married to.
Didn't your parents tell you that ever?
I mean, thankfully my parents knew my personality and I was very clear that I want to be the star of my own show.
Okay.
So I said, you know what, I'm going to take a sort of untaken path and follow the men in the family and then see
why
if
not?
I can be a strong business person.
And you started this at 24.
I did start this at 24 and thankfully I do come from, at least at home, it's a very gender equal environment. So my brother and I, my older brother's in AI.
Okay.
Both of us were trained in the business from a young age.
Right.
And when I was 17, I actually decided to move to the US, to California, study business there. I was at USC, I did my undergrad in business. I also, by the way, a lot of people don't know this, but I also went to acting school.
Oh, really?
I did.
At USC?
At USC.
So, Ronit's daughter, Ador, she goes to USC, she's studying film and business and all.
Right. Oh, wow. Good.
So,
Fine
before
on.
you finished, you came here and you started immediately.
I did. I think first time.
Did you work there at all?
I didn't actually work there as much because I was in a big hurry to come back and
Right.
get started with my career. I had campus jobs. I actually teach an IT class and I work for the college newspaper, etc. But more for me, it was like come back and be in business. And when I came back, I had this vision to start my own company.
So, what was your family business?
My family business is technology too. My dad has a company called Zenith Computers.
Okay.
Very visionary in the IT space. He started the company before
Who doesn't
I was
know
born.
Zenith?
Yeah. So grown up seeing, that vision of what technology can do for the world. And I really found that very interesting. But for me, I felt that, I want to do it my way. I want to do something high-end, something cool, something more global. So that's when I, between California and India, started View Televisions.
So, any initial challenges you face? I know you come from a lineage, like I always say, but in spite of that, did you face any challenges when you started View off?
I think one of the biggest challenges that I faced was, personally, I didn't have in business what they call comparables. There weren't that many people I could say that, oh, I want a company like that, or I want to be like that, or this is what I want.
But I thought the television market is a very competitive market.
It is extremely, but the vision that I had to blend luxury and technology, no one had really done this.
That reminds me, where's my television?
You know, I came into the studio and they were all VUTVs.
Oh, really? Great. Superb. That's
Definitely,
fantastic.
I'm faster than you on that. But for me, it's always been, you know, how do I bring glamour and luxury and great design to a business that's high-tech and innovative and finance. So that vision took me a long time to put together, which people didn't always believe. You know, this mindset was like, oh, India's a mass market, yahan pe kuch luxury high-end nahi chalega.
Achha.
So it took me 8 years to take my business from 0 to 30 crores. And then when it took off in 4 years, it went from 30 to 1,000 crores.
Wow. Fabulous. That's great. Yeah. No, but I've always seen you and I've known you. I know her through Instagram. I mean, it's amazing we've not met for so long. And but I do follow you, and because of social media, you actually end up thinking that you know somebody very well. But I'm glad to have you on the show. Now, let's delve into whatever we're here for. So, you know, my point, the reason I started this podcast was to inspire, not only inspire the young ones who are watching us, but also to debunk a few myths.
Right.
Now, such a high profile, high stress job. How do you maintain your physical fitness? How do you go about it?
You know, first of all, I must say that a lot of people think it's an either or. You know, somehow in India, there's this mindset of either you're the smart one, or you're the good-looking one, or you're the fit one.
There are very few people like me who are smart and good-looking. And you.
Absolutely. And I've always been very passionate about bridging this gap. So, in fact, I was the first business person to come in our own ads. And Forbes internationally wrote an article called India's Model CEO. And suddenly I'm like, you know, in Europe with Richard Branson giving a talk and millions someone's calling me for a marathon and doing all these covers, etc. And I realized that, oh my God, I burned the candle on both ends because I have to run this business and at the same time be the face of it, you know, whether it's a press interview, whether it's on stage. And I think fitness is fabulous in both giving you the energy to run a good business and giving you the confidence and aesthetic to face the camera and the public.
You know, that's so well put, because that's exactly what happens. It really helps your confidence when you walk into a room and you're fit and, you know, you're healthy. You just go to another level. So the actor in you, just veering away, the actor in you must be very happy with all these covers and all these people calling you.
I actually do enjoy it.
Because you seem like a child to me.
Really?
Yeah, you're so excitable, which is great. That enthusiasm is, again, another kind of health.
I was going to ask you, you know, and I really want to know this. I've been seeing you on TV all the time. You're always so youthful. Like, I want to know, like, what is the secret of that?
Exactly this. You know, I just feel that, you know, if you have a positive mindset towards life, highs and lows are all part of our life.
Correct.
It is going to happen. Today you're on a high, tomorrow there'll be a plateau for many, many months.
Correct.
It's how you look at life. And that's, you know, from the beginning, since my first show, Swabhiman, I've always thought that there's something which is going to be bigger, better, and it keeps happening without a plan, which is why I've never had a plan B.
Which is very
Only
cool.
plan B.
Only plan A.
Only plan A. Always. And when I tell the young ones, their principals and teachers are very cut up with me.
Really?
Who say that? We've been telling them all their lives to have plan B. No, but I believe that to answer your question, that when you have a plan B, you kind of don't give your 100% to plan A. Like you thought, view television, I'm going to put it on the map.
I'm going to just do this. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know what happened? People confuse being organized and structured with planning too much. Like, I'm very organized when it comes to my fitness.
Right.
But I let my life be
Tell me a little bit about your fitness.
Is.
I mean, what do you follow? What are your routines like?
So, you know, one thing that I figured that fitness has a lot to do with priorities and scheduling.
Right.
One of the early on mistakes I used to make is I used to go to the gym in the evening. And I work in Andheri. My house is in Altamount, and by the time I'd come back, आज थक गए हैं, आज भूख लगी है, अरे यहाँ बाहर जाना है, you know, अरे traffic था, class छूट गया. So I figured that no, my life has to be about working and working out.
Correct.
So then I said, okay, let me swap my schedule. And now I have my Pilates or swimming coach or classes, dance class, whatever in the morning. And then I head to work.
What's the best thing you could do?
That's seriously,
before coming here, I did my workout and
you just get done, you know, you're free for the day. And the other thing also, what happens when you join the class, and you've paid up for it. Then you're like, I got
Jana to padega.
Jana to
Business hai,
padega.
right? Business hai.
So for me, I like making sure that, I've scheduled it in very
And then you
properly.
get it out of the way, and then you have the entire
And you
day
have
to
the
do
whole
what
day
you
to
want.
yourself,
So now that's nutrition. I mean, that's your fitness routine, your mantra that keeps you going. High pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, let's face it. You're doing very well, but there's
you.
still constant pressure, right?
Yeah.
Now, the other segment which we discuss, which is also very great for the young ones watching, is mental health.
Yeah.
Nobody in India till a few years back would discuss mental health. It was
Yeah.
almost like, are you seeing a psychotherapist or a psychoanalyst? And it was like, oh God, ye to pagal hai.
Yeah.
Now, kind of, there are conversations about
Correct,
it. and
correct,
people
correct.
have come out in the open and spoken about it.
Correct.
I want to know, if it's such a high pressure thing that you work on, and you're a woman and you're leading the team. How many people do you have working under you?
I have about 300 people in my office here, and then we have 11 offices, and now we have business abroad, and about a couple thousand.
What are your thoughts on mental strength and mental health? And what is your take?
When a lot of people talk about mental health, one thing I would like to take a step prior to mental health is, I would call it more mood management.
Mood management, lovely. Yeah. Okay.
Because what happens is today, you meet someone, you go for a meeting, you go on the internet, people say something, and people are just very all the time getting all kinds of like emotional overwhelm. They get emotionally overwhelmed on something someone said or happened.
We're humans, we get affected.
You do get affected, and they don't always have mechanisms to correct their mood their own way. And I think it's very important today that, you have all these challenging situations, more on a daily basis also. You should know physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, what is it, how you can fix your mood. I'll give you an example. For someone like myself, I'm a total water baby. I'm so happy it's raining in Bombay. I go for a swim, or I'll go for a walk by the sea, or, just be in an environment physically that I feel relaxes me. Or I know which friend to call for what advice. They say har ek friend zaruri hota hai. If not anything else in front of my big large-size TV, I will just sit back and relax. And whether sometimes I'll just enjoy dancing, sometimes I'll write down my thoughts. So I think that's very important for you to, on a daily basis, in whatever situation, know कि आज mood खराब हो गया. How am I going to fix it myself?
Fantastic, yeah.
And then when you go to your work, you're always with a very straight face. The competition, another person also gets unnerved that, look, she's looking very calm. And you want to have, even the team has that confidence, the man is always looking very calm.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that at the
And to
back
run such
end,
a big team, you have to...
yeah, they really
have
see
to
you
project
as a
that,
person who, their mood is set by your mood, right? And they don't see that at the back end, there's a lot of process that goes in to make sure that you come with your 100% when you're facing the public and really fix your mood. And if you fix your mood on a regular basis, then the mental health part is like a mental hygiene taken care of. Is like going to the gym every day. That gets taken care of in a longer term, I'd say.
Fantastic. Very well put. Yeah. I'm learning a lot of things today on this episode. In spite of all of this, in spite of your mood management, as you say, and I've always seen you happy and smiling. Now I'm wondering, ke smile ke piche kya hai? Wo baad mein puchunga. But the point is, did you ever in this journey, it's been not such a long journey, but you've taken it from 0 to 1,000. Have you ever gotten disheartened by what's come to you, or have you gotten stuck anywhere and said, "Ki yaar, ye kya ho raha hai?" And how did you overcome that?
I think what happens is sometimes what discourages people is not necessarily one to big setbacks, but more on a regular basis the challenges that they face. But as you rightly put it, when your plan A is to do what you're doing, what you love doing, what you feel your vajood is, generally the smaller kinks you can take care of. The bigger challenges, I will say this, I was doing a course at Harvard Business School, and one of my classmates is Brazilian. Beto Biagi is his name. And he said this in one of our group meetings. He said, don't make major life decisions when you're in a fragile state of mind. Oh. So when people, for example, they haven't got that role, or, there's a setback in their business, that time they think of leaving. That time they think of a course correction change. I would say get through that challenge and then on a better day, make a big life decision. So I would say that I've been fortunate to be surrounded by smart people also who've given me good advice in how to manage myself. Because see, if I can't manage myself, how am I going to manage all these 100 people?
Team, yeah. But you never ever thought, you never in your life got disheartened with something that didn't go your way?
Hota hai.
But you deal with it?
Yeah, I deal with it.
Wow, fantastic. Great. So, फिजिकल या मेंटल हेल्थ, ये दोनों का एक बहुत ही जिसे कहते तंबू है.
हाँ.
वो तंबू है न्यूट्रिशन.
हाँ, करेक्ट.
और इंस्टाग्राम पे आप जाओ तो आपको इतनी चीजें बेचेंगे ना वो लोग, आपको लगेगा कि मैं क्या खाऊं यार, क्या नहीं खाऊं.
सुबह सुबह.
How important is nutrition to you, and how do you take care of your personal nutrition?
Well, I must say, even though I'm Marwari, people think I'm a Bengali, and that's because of my
I always
love
thought
for
you were a
mishti.
Bengali. Then of course I saw your second name and I said, "Nahi, nahi, ye to Marwari."
Because I love mishti, I love sweets. I literally dream of sweets. I think I go to a restaurant and open the dessert page first.
Oh my God, there are too many similarities, bro. I'm telling you, me and my daughter, we just look at the last page first.
I love sweets, and I think that is like a big, challenge for me, because I think if I don't eat something sweet, it'll affect my soul, but I have to maintain my body also. Right. Although when you call me for this podcast, I'm like, chalo, challenge to myself, till I don't come, I'm not going to eat chocolate. So I think that's very important to be mindful of what you eat. I will say when it comes to nutrition, again, some kind of planning is important. You know what, I'll be very honest with you. I've lived in the US for a long time. In India also.
Junk food?
No, it's not junk food. You know what happens is that what I find in India, the good thing is, and you don't value it, but in India, actually the food which is there is much better quality, much more fresher, less GMO, preservatives, etc. mostly. And now in India, we get an abundance of healthy
organic
good food.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what happens is people go to the wrong section in the grocery and pick up whatever is more convenient, which is great. My bag will always have a protein bar for when I'm out and about and I, get hungry or something. I really can't. I mean, it's necessary. My phone and my bar is in my bag, 100%. But I realize that, this bounty that we have in India as a country of beautiful, great, fresh food, as long as you take the effort to find good recipes, make it yourself.
You have to be interested in
then you have to,
nutrition
yeah. And what I do, because I'm in the office all day, I teach my cook, and then we make a menu card or an Excel sheet. And
oh wow, you make an Excel sheet for food. That's fantastic.
And then he WhatsApps me, and then I'll say, okay, you know what, let's try this. Aaj ye banao, aaj ye man hai. Because see, when I go home, I'm not one of those people who are like, acha theek hai, ek salad kha lungi, dal chawal kha lungi. Yeah, I'm non-veg. But I want something tasty. Tasty hona chahiye.
Of course. Nahi to aanko nahi lagta hai.
Exactly.
The other thing which I feel, this is my personal take, a lot of people, they read a book or they watch television while eating and they're not really focusing on the food. And my mother used to always tell me as a child, right now, and I was a bookworm, so I'd always be sitting reading something. She said, no books, no television, sit on the table, look at your food and enjoy that food.
Enjoy that food, yeah.
That's the only one that's going to impact you positively.
Correct.
And in today's day and date, including, our own children, I mean, they're constantly doing something they're on their iPad, this, that, the other.
Yeah.
So I think that's something also I keep telling them that don't eat properly. When you eat, you can take 15 minutes out.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I need to cut out of that habit for sure. I think today I'm going to try that. But
What?
I will not deny that
you watch View television while eating.
Netflix and chips, as they call it. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, I want something tasty.
Maybe that's the challenge you should take when you go back.
new show is seasons on. I have to watch it. But I think I've learned this today. I am going to try that. And so for my attempt at home, what I get made is just basically if it's tasty and nutritious and you eat that for most of your meals, then, you're pretty much taken care of. And a little bit thinking, for example, if I'm going out with my friends for dinner, I will definitely enjoy the food. But if I'm going somewhere where there's a buffet, especially if they serve at 11 o'clock, then bhaiya kha ke jao.
So, now, my next question to you is, what does your cheat meal look like? What's your favorite cheat meal? Kya aaj khane ka mood hai yaar?
I think definitely sweet, anything sweet. I answered that for sure. But I think I really have a problem. And I think it's called a seafood diet. You see it and you want to eat it. So sometimes I'll be watching some show and I was like, abhi mujhe ye khane ka man hai.
What is your sun sign? I have to ask you.
I'm Cancer. Birthday's next week, exactly a week from now. Huh?
What date?
June 25th.
So I have to tell you, there are too many similarities. My mother is 16 July, my daughter is 29 June.
Oh, wow.
And my anniversary is 23rd June, right in the middle. You sounded so much like an Aryan because I'm like that. I'm watching 2.5 Men and he's having some chips and having a chilled beer. I'll say, Vansi, yaar, give me a beer now. Yaar. Although I don't drink, and but that happens. We've spoken about nutrition, we've spoken about mental health, we've spoken about working out. It all seems like your life is very sorted. But I have to still ask you a question that, Have you ever reached a stage wherein, because of ill health or something which is not correct with your system mentally or physically, you've met a challenge and you've not wanted to or couldn't overcome it? Would you like to share something? And if you did, how did you overcome it? If you want to share.
Actually, I don't really speak too much about my personal life in public.
I know that.
But since we're friends here and very heart-to-heart chat, I will tell you what a major challenge I went through health-wise last year. Okay, this was last December. We were launching View televisions in the Middle East and had this big press conference planned in Dubai.
Oh yes, of course, I did so. Yes.
And the day before the press conference, I'd been having this persistent cough, cold, etc. Feel a little tired, feeling lightly feverish for a couple of weeks. But what happens is, sardi khasi hoti hai, we continue to work. Bukhar hota hai, to ghar baithenge. So I continued with my travel, work, etc. One day before, I couldn't get up and even go from the bed to the bathroom.
Oh my God.
I was coughing, I had no voice, I didn't know what to do. And so the W hotel, they send the nurse looks at me, sends the doctor says that, listen, you have exhausted yourself to the bone. You have zero immunity right now. They wanted to put me in the hospital. And next day I had this big conference, couple of 100 people, everything planned, my whole team, everyone, dignitaries coming from across.
There.
And I'm like, what am I going to do? The whole day I had IV and nebulizers and I was just completely weak. And then at middle of the night, I called up my brother. I said, listen, even though he's not completely into the more consumer-facing part of the business, but I called him. I said, listen, I'll send you my talking points. Just take the next flight and come.
Oh, you meant you were going to back off from the...
I didn't know what to do. I had no voice. I was like this. And I was coughing non-stop. And next day, from 4 a.m., the doctors were pumping me up with vitamins and all kinds of antibiotics, etc. I went on stage, somehow I got ready. I went on stage and on stage there's me, there's the TVs on side of me. And behind one of my TVs, I had hidden a bottle of cough syrup.
Oh my God.
So I used to present to the audience and speak about technology and then quietly go on the side and then have a cough syrup and I don't know what they thought I was drinking. And then 1 hour I spoke non-stop, gave my interviews, did my shoots. And then from there, I was directly taken to the hospital.
Oh, wow.
And just sheer exhaustion, low immunity. I was there for a couple of days. I had to come back to Bombay on a wheelchair at the airport. And it was honestly...
Thank you for sharing that with
us. It was
yeah.
just honestly scary. It was just honestly scary. And I was...
especially when you're out of the country and out of your house, it gets scary.
I was just like, ghar jana hai. There's no place like home. Foreign hospitals, doctors are very nice, but home is home. And I just wanted to come back. I came back and my doctor, very senior doctor, he said, listen, I know you're a workaholic, but next 2 weeks, you're just going to be home.
So was it more mental and physical, everything coupled together?
It was just completely, I had just basically at that point prioritized 100 million things above my own health. Thinking that, anyways, I work out or something. And so I actually went back on one of those days sitting at home with nothing to do, resting. I went on my calendar. And I think I'd gone for some 92 events, outside meetings, conferences, parties, whatever. And I realized that in India, somehow we generally tend to culturally put others first before us.
Yes.
Achha nahi lagega, jana padega. Muh dikha ke aa jao, or we can't cancel.
I've never been able to say no to anyone.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a struggle. We feel so much guilt saying no. This was a wake-up call. I said, you know what? I am just going to basically, I don't care if I'm tired, if I've not slept well, if it's going to take my time away from my exercise or the food, but I'm not going. Right. And this year, trust me, in making that swap in my life, I feel so much better.
Wow.
And I realized just prioritizing yourself
is the most important thing.
Then you're working and you're working out. Yeah. And then all your
everything has to be secondary. In fact, I learned this from my brother-in-law. He is extremely frank.
Yeah.
He's a Taurian. So if he doesn't like a script or a role or something, he'll say no.
Yeah.
And I said, I have never been able to say no. In the bargain, I've done some shitty films.
Correct.
And he said, boss, it's better to say no and hurt him once.
Correct.
Than to keep hurting yourself for all those 30 days of shooting.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I think the word for it is basically you have to honor yourself.
Yeah.
your body tells you don't go.
If you don't love yourself, how can you love anybody else?
We push ourselves. And I think after this episode that happened, I don't even talk about it. People were like, "Arey, you should put it on the internet. It'll be such an inspiring story."
Now it will be on the internet.
I think a platform like this, I felt more comfortable sharing it. And thank you for that. But I think these are the opportunities and situations where you really have to realize what's important.
This is fantastic because you made that paradigm shift.
Yes, completely.
Which is very important. And there's another thing that we keep talking about. Even though you meet so many challenges in life, you have to learn when to shift. A lot of people think it is sorted out itself. It doesn't happen. You have to make that shift.
First, fix yourself.
Yeah, and
then you can fix the world.
Talking about fixing, my friend Yash Birla was on the show a couple of weeks back. Of course, you've known about him. We've all known what he's gone through. He said a very beautiful thing. He said spirituality pulled me through all those dark periods. And he was very young when he, kind of tragedy struck in his family.
Yeah.
Lost both his parents and his sister, etc. And spirituality is what lifted him. And today, of course, he's running a multi-billion business. True. What are your thoughts on spirituality? Have you ever felt like you've been kind of close to it, or you want to go towards it, or you want to know about it? Ever?
I think for me, I've been very fortunate. My brother and I, growing up, our grandmother was erudite in about 10, 12 languages. Oh. So she used to teach everything from Sanskrit to Urdu, etc. And she had a lot of learnings and teachings. And so my grandfather taught me more about business. And my grandmother taught me more about spirituality.
So your grandfather started Zin?
So my father started it. Yeah. And but my grandfather was the one who started training me in business when I was like 5 years old. He decided back then I'm going to be in business. And my grandmother, she used to make a lot of stories from the Gita, a lot of stories from the Upanishads, etc. Right. Very easy in a very children's format for my brother and I to understand.
You're lucky.
And I'm very fortunate for that. And I thought that gave me a very good grounding. And I really do feel today is, a lot of Hinduism, they actually make things very digestible even for a younger person. Yes. So definitely at a young age,
very easy to understand.
When you're exposed to these stories, it becomes part of your system. However, the one thing when it comes to my own spiritual practice that for me is a very important driving force in life, I would say, my vajood, you can say in such a way, is the theory, and this is something that my uncle in California, who was also in the tech business, once told me. He said, in Hinduism, the most important portfolios of finance, defense, and education is actually held by women.
Oh, really?
It's Laxmi, Saraswati, Durga.
Oh, yeah, of course.
The men are handling all the side cabinets.
Correct.
Right? Absolutely. And I realized that what happened to our
Shakti,
culture in history.
Shakti.
Exactly, and why that in the office there will be Lakshmi Puja, but there'll hardly be any women out there. So I realized that, keeping the power of that Indian feminine power, you see, globally they always show power as a very masculine thing. It's only in India that you'll always have a goddess, resplendent in a sari.
How lovely,
jewelry, very giving, but still like a Kalima Shakti, powerful. And I've always...
So you feed off that?
I really feel very connected to that story, and I feel that it is something that I was born to sort of bring back to India, inculcate and share.
Great. Do you meditate?
I would say I do meditate, but I'm not a very silent meditator. I think I go more into a samadhi meditative practice when I'm dancing or doing something more joyful.
You're the Osho variety of meditation. He used to believe in that. I went to Osho Dham many, many years back, and I thought there's going to be we're all going to be sitting in a big room and reading. And they said, please come to the garden. And I went to the garden, there were like 120 people and that chant was going on. And I could feel him there. It was that good. We were dancing and, I don't know what people were on, but, I was shooting there in Pune.
It's amazing. And I do think that I did Odissi classical dance for many years. When you're doing that dance, you can think of nothing else. Classical Indian dance and classical Indian music, you are just focused.
Focusing.
And I think that kind of tapasya, as you would call it, which is a mix of meditation and focus and perseverance, is very hard.
This episode has been fabulous for me because I've learned so many things and usually I'm on this side. So now let's reverse this thing. We have a fun segment called the Ask Rohit Anything segment.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
You can ask me any question that you want to that comes to your mind.
I want to know, Rohit, first of all, As I said, that I've always seen you as a very cheerful, youthful person. You look the same since your Swabhiman days. So tell me 3 things that you would say to someone. They say that beautiful young people are works of nature, but beautiful older people are works of art. I'm not saying that you're not young, but I know you really maintained that positivity. So please tell me the things that you do that you would like to share that does never ever show on your face.
I should have prepared for this. It suddenly looks like I'm standing on the stage of Miss Universe. So I have a mantra called Jade.
Jade.
Jade. Jade.
Okay.
This is self-coined. The first word J stands for jealousy.
Okay.
A stands for animosity. D stands for... so basically two-faced people.
Yeah.
Diabolical, but you can say that. And E stands for empathy.
Okay.
In my life, there is no place for the first 3.
Okay.
And I survive on empathy.
Oh, wow.
Giving and taking. And I will never ever wish or try to do bad to anybody, even if you have done me bad. I believe in forgiving because not forgiving becomes toxic for you.
Correct.
So these are the things I guess it's come from my father at some point. And I maintain this all my life, which what leads to my positive outlook in life.
Correct, correct.
So that's how I'm a work of art. I'm not old, but I'm a work of art, okay? Good question. Gosh, I'll have to prepare a little more. But thank you. And before I let you go, we have a final segment, which is called the Keep Going mantra. Like everybody has this mantra in life that whatever happens, whatever mountains comes in front of me, or there's a ravine and I have to मेरे को पार करके swim करके दूसरी तरफ जाना है. What is that keep going mantra for Devita Saraf?
I think
अब तुमको सोचना पड़ेगा.
मुझे सोचना पड़ेगा. I would say that, a lot of people aspire to be a CEO, to be a founder, entrepreneur. Especially these days, it's more popular.
Yes.
Most people, you ask them, they want to be an actor and I want to be an entrepreneur. Plan A and plan B, acting and business. But I would say that before you do anything now, be the CEO of your own life. Manage your life well, plan it well, have your goals, work towards them, celebrate them, be accountable. I think if you're CEO of your own life and you manage yourself well, baki ka things that happen externally, you can manage after that.
Wow. Fabulous. Yeah, that was amazing. I am enlightened today. So, before you go, I want to ask you one question.
Yes, sir.
Do you not miss acting?
So will you give me a role? Was this a good screen test?
So, next time you come, sit on my chair and you can interview somebody else.
Oh my God.
That's a good start, no?
That is a good start. But director, producer here, please,
मैं director, producer दोनों में ही.
I mean, everybody, I'm saying this is my screen test for you.
But thank you so much for making time. I know you're extremely busy handling so many people. Thank you for coming on the show, sharing your insights. These were really, really great. Especially for me that, I only get a particular kind of answer, mostly. But your answers have been fresh, reinvigorating, and I go back home enlightened. You guys keep tuning in and keep watching our show Unstoppable and learn something from whatever we bring you. Like I always say, हम यहाँ पे ज्ञान देते नहीं हैं, खाली inform करते हैं. If you do your thing, do your research, try out whatever we tell you, and then maybe it'll be helpful to you. Even if this chat can inspire one person out there, I think my job is done. Till then, keep watching Unstoppable with Rohit Roy. Stay healthy.